This is Howie Sandberg for Northeast Hardcore Wrestling. This is a special edition of the podcast because we are just about 24 hours away on the eve of Deviant behavior. The only way to watch it is live, only on pay-per-view. Emanating from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Boston. The hometown of one John E. Legend. John E. Legend is not a likable figure. John E. Legend is arrogant. John E. Legend will tell you he is the five-tool player, the youngest world heavyweight champion in the history of this business. He is cocky, but the three-time NEHW World Heavyweight Champion has backed it up. On this night, the hometown boy will undoubtedly be greeted with a hero's welcome. Yes, it will appear, it will seem like the world is spinning on its head, turned upside down. The silent assassin Ryu is his opponent. Ryu has one of the most impressive win-loss records of any wrestler in the FWA. This man has won big match after big match. He has run out the loner Dante Deacon and Big Dread Vedder. He has run them out of either the FWA itself or NEHW. The legend killer? No. The legend assassin is what he claims to be. What does this portend for one John E. Legend? Now, the first encounter took place on Total Anarchy. It was a non-title match, marred in controversy. Ryu defeated Legend when Legend allegedly submitted in the Dragon's Tail Indian Deathlock finisher. Legend claims that never happened. The triple threat match for the NEHW World Heavyweight Championship took place at Mistletoe Madness. Legend, Ryu, ravishing Rude Runo. Ryu was on the precipice. He was on the cusp of winning the gold. He hit the Broken Silence, the alternative finisher, from the top rope, short ride, bad landing. He would cover Runo. Only one problem. The resourceful, opportunistic Legend would strike Ryu in the back with a barbed wire baseball bat. He would roll Ryu off of Runo, scoop in, and steal the pin and steal the win. At Deviant Behavior, it will be one-on-one. And I have a feeling we are going to have a decisive winner. However, my feeling could be wrong. Why? In the corner of Ryu will be the nefarious Mr. Matsumoto and Lisa Lovely. And we know with that comes antics, and we know with that comes shenanigans. There could be trouble for Legend. Ryu is so talented, he does not need the help, but he will have it at his disposal at Deviant Behavior. Many believe it is Ryu's time. Johnny Legend says, not on his watch. This will be a fascinating matchup. In another marquee match, the Intercontinental Championship will be on the line when Princess Peter, the flamboyant Princess Peter takes on Khalil the Lion. It is a match 1 year in the making. Where do we really even begin here? Way back when, now, Peter fell in love with Khalil. Khalil is a heterosexual man. Can you see the problem here? Now, we hear that homosexual men enjoy the challenge of flipping heterosexual males. Apparently, Peter was up for that. However, it bordered on. No, it didn't border on. It went well past the boundaries. And I would call it harassment. So a match was made. A restraining order versus a date. And in this matchup, Peter would defeat Khalil. Khalil was forced to go on a date with Peter to where? The Olive Garden. Peter. What a man of class. What a man of class. Nothing spells romance quite like the Olive Garden. How romantic. On this date, Peter would make lewd, crude remarks, laying it on thick, cringeworthy, quite frankly. He did fly the Mexican sex symbol Sancho in from Mexico to serenade the two in song. Things got even more strange when Peter turned a breadstick into a phallic symbol. There were other uncomfortable sexual innuendos. And Peter would proposition Khalil, asking him if he would come up to his place for a nightcap. Khalil would depart. Soon after, Khalil would encounter a Reverend Cecil B. Amen. Or is it, Amen? That actually was my Granny Sunnyside voice. And I'm losing my voice now. Excuse me while I clear my throat. The Reverend had an agenda. He would go on to abduct Peter and perform electric shock therapy to try to eradicate the quote-unquote gayness out of him. Khalil was privy to all this. He was well aware. He was there. Khalil being a man of honor and integrity, despite his feelings towards Peter. He knew this was not right. He helped facilitate the safe return of Peter. The Reverend would perish in a tragic automobile accident in Atlanta, Georgia. God rest his soul. That is neither here nor there. What did Khalil get for doing the right thing? What did he get? More harassment from Peter. Khalil felt as if the NEHW office was turning a blind eye to the vulgarity, encouraging smut TV. He had enough. And so he left for the West Coast, CAEW. A year later, now, he returned in shocking fashion, brutally attacking both Peter and Bubba, the prison guard, with a crowbar. And the fans loved this. They absolutely loved this. On the following episode of Total Anarchy, Peter would have a great deal to say in response. Peter believes that Khalil is a bigot. Peter believes that Khalil is a hypocrite. Interesting. Khalil believes that Peter is utilizing social media outlets such as the infamous FWA chat, using them to make people feel uncomfortable. Using them to spread his message. A message of hate, he says. He is pushing the envelope. He is pushing his sexual orientation onto the masses. Khalil has no issue with Peter being a gay man. He does not hate Peter because he is a gay man. It will be said once again, it was said by Khalil, I do not hate you, Peter, for being gay. I hate you because you are an asshole. Peter once loved Khalil. That love was unrequited love. Peter would remark, I once wanted your ass. Now, I just want to kick it. It doesn't get any more personal than this. There is serious heat between these two men. And I will break kayfabe and tell you that. They don't like each other. At all. Both men badly want to win this match. Khalil is the more powerful of the two. He is muscular and he is strong. Peter will not win the power game. He must use his quickness and his athleticism if he has any chance to defeat Khalil. Khalil will have Bubba in his corner. It was just revealed that Khalil has some backup in the form of the Scorpion. I can't wait for this matchup. In another high-profile matchup, it will be Hitman Howie Sandberg taking on F the Office Freddie Fuller, his arch nemesis, in the dangerous exploding ring match. We know the story. It's well documented. We will not rehash everything. What we will say is that it has not been a good 4 or 5 months for Howie Sandberg. The Hitman is known for winning the matches, the big matches, on the grand stages. Not lately. Howie would say, despite all this, he would say to the maestro, you tried to drive me crazy. You tried to drive me insane. I went through the depths of hell in an obsession to defeat Avatar. And it took multiple blood transfusions to save my life. My mind became just a little bit effed up. Howie put himself through that feud against Avatar, and it wasn't even personal. This match is personal. The maestro orchestrated a plot, for nearly a year. And it almost ended the Hitman. The Maestro and Fuller put their hands on Baba Sandberg. Howie is looking to extract revenge. Now, he did score a measure of revenge on the last Total Anarchy when he finally got his hands on the Maestro, locking him in a sharpshooter to end the show. But he has not gotten that elusive revenge on Freddie Fuller as of yet. Howie has stated, despite the blemishes, I am still standing, Maestro. I am still fighting. And that means you didn't get the job done. Still standing. Still fighting. If we're being objective here, still standing? Howie, really? Because at Mistletoe Madness in the Hardcore War Games match, you weren't fighting. You were laying down. Laying down for Freddie Fuller to score the 1-2-3 in the victory for the Lords of Hardcore. Why? Because Fuller was about to set Howie's best friend, Awesome Force, on fire. Howie had a real Sophie's choice to make. Fight and risk Awesome Force being set ablaze, or lay down and ensure his best friend would be safe. Well, the crowd was not pleased. Surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly, Howie was booed by a good portion of the audience after this match. But what would you do faced with that very situation? What would you do? It's a very hard question to answer. Sandberg was in an extremely tough spot. And until you walk those shoes, you just don't know. Sandberg has spilled his guts. He has had his life on full display for everybody in Northeast. And as a result, what has he gotten? He's booed? Sandberg has a thick skin. After all, he is a mighty anaconda. But man, that has to hurt. It is obvious that many fans are losing faith, losing confidence in Sandberg. Then there are other fans who are very much still in his corner and still believe, or at least still want to believe. It doesn't get any more dangerous than an exploding ring match. Sandberg is 0-1. He lost to Big Dread Vedder at Deviant Behavior last year. Freddie Fuller is 0-1, losing to Johnny Legend at Fall Brawl in that very match. So something has to give. One of these men is going to be on the winning side of the ledger. It's going to be a good one. Somebody is going to get hurt. They are going to get hurt bad. In other action, Brock the Pulverizer will take on God's Herald Legion Cage. With the exception of maybe the legendary Lucian Champion, Cage is arguably the greatest Canadian Pride World Heavyweight Champion in the history of the IWF. The man is highly decorated. Ever since arriving in Northeast Hardcore Wrestling, he has been nothing short of dominant, along with the Cartel. These men have history. Brock the Pulverizer would win that CPW World Heavyweight Championship in a 5-way match Legion Cage entered as champion. He left as a former champion. 9 years later, they would meet again. And 9 years later, once again, they meet tomorrow night at Deviant Behavior. It will be Brock and his jackknife powerbomb against Cage and the Wrath of God. This will be a slugfest. This will be a knockdown dragout. This will be a dogfight. Elsewhere, Double H and Chaos Knight. There is bad blood. You don't mess with a man's wife and get away with it. That's what Double H did. His hatred for the Knight family led him to their home, where he broke in, allegedly slipped Nightshade, Chaos Knight's wife, a roofie, and allegedly, we will say allegedly, found himself in a sexual encounter with Nightshade. He would later recant that statement, saying that he has standards. He has standards. Well, Chaos Knight found a sex tape from 2001 of Double H, a young Double H. With who? With Kim Kong. In this tape, Double H was blindfolded with a French tickler sitting next to him. There was a whip, and there was clearly some heavy S&M action going on. How embarrassing. Fight fire with fire, my friend. That's exactly what Chaos Knight did. Humiliating Double H. Chance of meatloaf. Back in the day when Double H was a lot more plump, people believed he resembled meatloaf. Wow. Double H versus Chaos Knight. Elsewhere, the NEHW World Tag Team Championships will be on the line when the Religion will defend against the legendary Underdogs. The Underdogs have been patient men, finally getting their opportunity. The Underdogs are supremely talented, this we know. The Religion, they're no slouches either. And what they have going for themselves in this match is the numbers game. Bishop Hell, who may be the biggest superstar in this group, perhaps a future single star. His tag team partner, Deacon Damian Damnable, but it doesn't stop there because there's St. Titus and there is the nefarious Pope Stedius IV. Will there be outside interference? The Underdogs will have to focus on their opponents, but they don't want to lose sight of what's going on outside the ring either. It's going to be a good one, folks. More to Love Billy Johnson will go one-on-one with Big Dick Bastard. God, I love enunciation. I love the enunciation of that. I'll never get tired of saying it. Big Dick Bastard. Well, that actually kind of sounded more like Vince McMahon, but regardless. Billy Johnson, the lasagna lover boy, the steak night delight, the pork chop prize fighter, the buffet bully, the pizzeria poologist, the man of 1,000 monikers, clearly. A Johnson versus a Big Dick. Now, Johnson is plumper, he is wider, more to love. Big Dick is clearly more vertical. I have a feeling that neither man will have a hard, let me rephrase. I have a feeling that neither man will have difficulty getting up for this match. I believe both men will lay their shit in. It will be snug. And they will be stiff. It is the first ever FWA cockfight. Johnson versus Big Dick Bastard. Can't wait to see that one. And the fans are now actually behind and cheering Billy Johnson. I never thought I'd see that happen. Awesome Force takes on the Mud Show outlaw Iggy Crumb in a backyard death match. What exactly is a backyard death match? Do we even know? What we do know is this is Iggy Crumb's domain. It will be his environment. The man is willing to die just to get a pop, and that makes him a dangerous man. Awesome Force is the more powerful of the two men. The Filipino powerhouse is called that for a reason. But does he have any experience in this sort of wrestling match? How could you? We don't really even know what this kind of match is. What will it consist of? Say, 10 fans gathered around in a backyard watching a crazy man using light tubes and God knows what else. Anything can happen in this match. Use your imagination. It's going to be a sight to see. That much is for sure. There will be a 6-tag team Money in the Bank ladder match between the XS Express, Heart and Soul, the Iron Warriors, the Dirty Dicks, 2 hardcore MFers, and the Red Hot Devils own. That's going to be fun. That one is going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, the card is stacked. If you don't tune in tomorrow night, you'll be missing out on what will be, without a doubt, one hell of a show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm signing off. We will see you at Deviant Behavior. This has been Howie Sandberg saying and bidding you good night, farewell, adieu. We will see you on the proverbial flip side.